Okay, next we're going to hear from Lisbeth Iversen, who is Senior Advisor and leader of the Municipal Network with a Heart for Arendal. She is also now a public sector PhD candidate at the Oslo School of Architecture and Design, and has been in the Placemaking Leadership Council of the Project for Public Spaces since its start in 2013. And previously, she worked with as the Commissioner of Development, Climate and Environment in the city of Bergen, as well as working with social issues, housing, and local area development in Bergen. So, welcome, Therese. Look forward to hearing about your work with the Heart of Arendal.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here and to listen to all the very good speakers and all the good examples. I think the combination of research and good practice is what we need in the years to come. So I will try in 10 minutes to share a little bit about the long-term work in Arendal. And as you see, we established a network. It was first of all a pilot project in 2012-13 to do better in many fields, to co-work with organizations, business, social actors, but also cultural sector. And this has become a permanent network and a platform, also anchored in several plans in the City Council. And it's not directed by the City Council or the administration. It's governed by the collective advisory board of the network. So it's in between public sector and society. So we have had a long-term big goal to turn around Arendal from what was called I will knock you down city with right extreme groups that really were fighting in the streets against the newcomers some 15, 20 years ago, and also the decline in public activity and also in businesses and the amount of people who we wanted to come. So this big goal was first of all to get together and talk and discuss and do things in a different way. So that led us after some years of intensive work, and this was also something that the voluntary sector was supporting to get more jobs. And we did get a contract with Morrow, and it is now under construction, the factory. And so I will not deal too much with this big goal of 2,000 new workspaces and more to come, because you heard something from Skellefteå, and we are closely looking into what they have done and the experience they have in that field. But of course, when we need a lot of new homes and different kinds of houses, not only the family houses we have a lot of, but also for single persons, as we have learned from Morrow, maybe half of them will be young people, 30 years plus, and they are individual households. So we try not to expand into the green areas, but to concentrate and regenerate what we have, and do this, like this area where we want to actually build a more compact and livable center. And to get inspired, but also to get other thoughts and other actors into our work, we have entered the European 17 competition. Because Arendal is a small city, we also always try to listen and learn from others. So this is a process actively going on, in addition to many other plans that have been decided for homes and development. But the most important message from me today and from Arendal is, if we only see these big goals and we don't see the fantastic possibilities in the many small, the other 2,000 workspaces, maybe also for people who are outside work and outside education, we will not have a sustainable and livable society for all, and we will not attract businesses to come if we have a lot of social challenges. So we asked ourselves, as we have had many good projects, like this glass elevator is the last thing we got in our city that could bridge, in a way, the downtown areas with the areas up on the hills, and it's free, accessible for everyone. But we started to ask ourselves, are we also getting all the others on board when we have these onboarding project and remote talent attraction? Do we see the talent in the people we have? So we took part in, and I was the project leader of an initiative that we got to know about from Doga, the Design and Architecture Center in Norway. And we had at that time, at the end of 2016, 25 historic empty buildings in the city center where the shops had closed. And that was also due to the urban planning in the region, where you have these big malls out by the highways and you empty your city centers. It will take long to tell you how we did it, but we had social entrepreneurship projects. We had voluntary people who mapped all the empty buildings, called to the owners, and we did something we are not maybe supposed to do because we don't own them. We don't have the right to tell the owner to rent it out or to do something with it unless it's really deteriorating. So the Planning and Building Act cannot help us here. And we thought the whole platform in Arendal is about co-creation and participation, also outside the regime of planning. When there's no plan, are we then going to leave the place? Or are we going to create some kind of place leadership that is present over time? So in these initiatives, we started by using other things than planning tools and words. But activation, we invited people to come to Thursday walks. We asked the owner to walk through the buildings. We had all kinds of creative initiatives in the streets, making it possible for people with less education, but also maybe less self-confidence to take part in these really nice, inclusive arrangements. And it was also very much about recycling clothes and sharing and caring and making it possible for people with lack of income to actually have a position in such a street and such a market. So, but to have a lot of projects is not what we want. We want the project to be long-lasting, so we really try hard to support organization of collaboration. So one of the houses become an organization, an ideal one, and also search for possibilities to be internationally directed with UN goals and other networks. And they become an impact hub international in 2020 and can be supported by that kind of international network. But here you see where the municipality, directors from the business, volunteers, and everyone were celebrating the day we became an impact hub. But we cannot celebrate for a long time because we knew about Morrow, new people coming now every week. So together in this big network with Red Cross and the voluntary sector and also supported by the municipality, we established a welcome hub where you can get information about coming to Arendal and take responsibility, be part, become a local with us. So things are going on, of course, every week, but this is also practical, how to get your passport or where to settle and things like that. And some of it is supported by Morrow or other companies, but I would say 80% is voluntary. And little bit more than 1 week ago, we had 150 newcomers for Thanksgiving dinner, and they all brought their own food. So it's also about how do we approach newcomers? Do we here we serve you, our society, or do we invite them to come and be local and be responsible and also care for others that are not so lucky as we are? So these are just a couple of things. We also created in the Sparkling Spaces project a place just to come in, urban community house with a workshop where you can make things, all kinds of things. And this is also organized up to organization, very actively working with professional artists, musicians, dancers. And we have had a lot of projects now where the municipality is giving us buildings. And this pink one, where we are now, is given us on the 14th of December for 1 Norwegian kroner. And otherwise, the municipality could have sold it for maybe 10, 12 millions, but that would be one-time income. What we create is a long-term society with a lot of social entrepreneurs and professional artists that we can support to be actually managing their own income. Yeah. And then the relational part, very quickly. We think that the structural parts are very important, but the city is also a mindset. It's about relation or lack of invitations. And so we also work very thoroughly with the restaurants and everyone to know how we can be more inclusive and be aware of young people in trouble. So if there's a drug addict coming to a restaurant, he will be, declined. He will be sent home and invited to come back and have a meal next day if he's sober. And also the last thing is this former prison was sold to private owners in 2019. It's already one site for one of our big youth programs, street basket, gaming, and so on. And it's developed into a hotel, and the director is the former prisoner from this prison. Just to say that I think we need really, really to change what we are talking about and researching. We really need to be on the street level and do both research and activities and be together with them. So, we create new stories about us through inclusive actions. Here you see one method we use many times a year. We have spread it around Agder and to other countries. It's People Meet People, where I and some other leaders are inviting half the table from newcomers, refugees, and the other half from people who have been living longer time in Arendal. And what is that about? It's just you do not meet new people. You go with the ones you know, so you don't actually change your lifestyle. So we have done this project. It's been with amazing results. And then more people have more people to say hello to in the streets, and you feel closer to the responsibility of caring for your fellow man and woman. Thank you.
I think that was an excellent example that you presented about community engagement, but also this notion of social innovation, social enterprise, social entrepreneurship to actually turn something that was a clear problem, a plight in the city center, into an opportunity, and having those markets and community engagement to bring meaning and a sense of place to people. That is a wonderful example that I think a lot of municipalities throughout the Nordic region, Therese, if you're here still working away in Skellefteå, I think that there's definitely some messages there for engaging the community. And again, it's about making a sense of place so people will stay. Thank you very, very much.